Hi, Robyn. Thanks so much for doing this interview. Could you introduce yourself to folks by stating your name and sharing what your current position is?
Sure. My name is Robyn Weinstein, and I'm a fellow at the Kukin program for conflict resolution at Benjamin and Cardozo School of Law in New York City.
And how did you come to this position at Cardozo, and what has been your career path in ADR?
Well, it's kind of a long story. But I was a student here at Cardozo, and I graduated in 2009. And as a student, I became very active in the dispute resolution programs here and in the mediation clinic and in all the various kind of ADR programs and activities at the law school. And I was just fell in love with the field. And after I graduated law school, I worked for 2 years for a nonprofit organization called Volunteers of Legal Service. And I actually practiced law and ran a pro bono program there where I basically would train attorneys to represent people in administrative hearings before the Department of Labor, so sort of employment-focused work. And from there, my husband got a job in Los Angeles, so we had to move and move from New York City and move to a new state, to California. And I made the decision at the move that I really wanted to go back to, something full-time dispute resolution if I could. I loved it so much in law school, and actually after graduating a year or almost a year and a half after graduating, I had the opportunity also to teach a little bit of mediation as a part of the Cardozo Mediation Clinic. I was a mentor for the clinic, so I just tried to keep involved, but my day job was definitely more of being an attorney and running a program. So when I moved to Los Angeles, I just buckled down, found out who's who in the dispute resolution community, decided to become involved with various professional organizations there that were focused on mediation, specifically an organization called the Southern California Mediation Association. And I also was fortunate to have the opportunity to work in a contract position for the FINRA dispute resolution program while I sort of found my sea legs in Los Angeles. So the first 9 months that I was out there, I was working at the dispute resolution program at FINRA and also being very active in the mediation world and the community, the professional community that was there, which was very strong. And from the job at FINRA, I ended up landing a position, again, another contract type position at Loyola Law School. They also have a Center for Conflict Resolution. And I work there helping to train students to become mediators, getting to mediate various types of cases from divorce to they have the Department of Fair Employment and Housing cases, which are kind of employment discrimination cases in California. So I was able to mediate those and various different types of conciliation work, kind of mediations on the telephone. So I got a lot of experience doing that, which was something I really hadn't done before, that conciliation work. And then I still stayed very active in the Mediation Association out there, and through that I came across some other opportunities. I actually had the opportunity to become an adjunct faculty at Pepperdine Law School, teaching their mediation clinic and working with the students again as a mentor in small claims courts specifically, and working with them on a weekly basis to actually mediate cases. So I did that. And I also ended up finally finding a full-time position at an organization called California Lawyers for the Arts, and they had something called the Arts Arbitration and Mediation Services. And that was a service that was a very special dispute resolution service for artists. And it was a sliding fee scale, low-cost service for artists who were in any type of dispute. They could use that as a resource to try and resolve their dispute. So I became the program associate and then eventually the program director of that program, and got to run a mediation program, which was fantastic, and also still teaching at Pepperdine. And then from there, my husband got another job, and we had to move back to New York City. Um, and I was very fortunate that this fellowship was available and that this was an opportunity that I could come back to Cardozo, the place that trained me, and bring back all this new experience that I got in California as a mediator and doing all this programming work and also teaching, and bring that back here to Cardozo. And so now I'm working as a fellow, providing support to the Kukin program with various events, helping Professor Leela Love, who runs the program, with her various projects. And then also I have the opportunity again to be an adjunct here and to help with the mediation clinic and be a mentor in small claims court again.
That is so cool. You have found a way to find a job in ADR no matter where you go. It's amazing. As you were looking at these jobs and you moved to LA and then back to New York, what advice did you get, or what was your approach in trying to find ADR work?
I would say that the biggest thing that I did was joining these various associations and becoming involved with the communities within each city. So in New York, even as a law student, when I first got to Cardozo pretty much on the first day of law school as a first-year law student, which is so dumb. If you know, when you're starting your first year of law school, you have to take certain classes. You really can't do anything else, and you should be focusing on your grades in those classes and not much else. But of course, the first day I got to law school, I went to Professor Love's office and I said, "Hi, I think I'd like to be a mediator. What do I have to do?" And she actually connected me with Tracy Frisch, who was one of your interviewees as well, who I met with, and Tracy kind of advised me on what to do to become active in dispute resolution at Cardozo. So I joined the Cardozo Dispute Resolution Society, and I sort of used that as a platform to reach out to members in the community that I was interested in meeting and invited them to come to the school and speak. And so the Dispute Resolution Society provided me with a platform to do that and a budget to invite these people and put on events and programs. And through that, I made really wonderful relationships and connections, one of which was with the person who connected me with the position in FINRA in Los Angeles many years later. So a lot of times those connections that you build through being a part of these associations and organizations serve you throughout your career, and also you build friendships with people that you really have shared interests in your values and in what you want to do with your career. So it's been really valuable for me to do that. And so even when I graduated, I tried to stay involved in the New York community, mostly with Cardozo. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, I really knew no one and had no connections there. Professor Love did have some connections in California and referred me to speak with some folks out there who advised me about the Mediation Association. And once I joined that, I really built a network and a platform for myself to, again, reach out to people that I was interested in meeting, invite them to speak at Southern California Mediation Association events, and from there kind of built a community of wonderful people that I really enjoy working with and are friends to this day.
So when I've talked to some others, and I think when you and I chatted a little bit on the phone earlier this week, sometimes people say, oh, but it's contract work, or they're adjunct positions or clinical positions like me, or fellowship. And I'm just curious if you could talk a little bit about your job satisfaction or what you enjoyed about these positions that you've had, these various positions that you've had, or the current position that you have.
Sure. I mean, I think there's truth in that they're non-traditional positions. You have to be ready for a little less stability if you want to have a career in this track. But I'm happy every day. I love what I'm doing. I feel really passionate about this work. I got to mediate a couple cases with students last night, and I was tired at the beginning of the night, and I didn't know how I was going to make it through. And by the end, I had so much adrenaline from these fantastic cases and having the opportunity to help these people and have them thank us at the end of the night for all that we've done for them, and I love what I do. I'm very happy, and I don't know that a lot of my peers who are doing, legal work or who are working in places that they feel less passionate about can say the same thing. So that to me is there's a big value in that, and I can afford to be in a situation that is maybe less traditional or less stable, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do that.
That's beautiful. So I guess the last question would be if that 1L Robyn, first day of law school, were to approach you today in 2014, what advice would you give her?
It's tough. I think that I'd probably give myself all the same advice that people gave me, some of which has been mentioned in previous interviews that you've done where people say, oh, go spend some time having a traditional legal career before you do the ADR, or it's a very, I do. I mean, I do this with interns that I've had at my previous positions. I warn them that it's hard. It's not easy to find exactly what you're looking for, and it's not going to be picture perfect if you decide you want to go into this field and be a mediator or be involved in the mediation world. It's not clean cut. There's no clear track. So I definitely give that warning, but I think I also express that I'm happy doing what I'm doing, so I would say that too. But I think there's a balance, and I think just setting those expectations for what the reality is and helping. I would hope that I would help 1L Robyn understand, that there are these various paths that you can take in this field, and you want to be mindful of what you're interested in and what you think you want to be doing in the field, and then kind of make your choices based on that.
Thanks so much, Robyn, for doing this interview and for sharing your story and sharing with folks just the variety of different jobs you can have, from working as a program administrator, fellow, teaching, mediating, working with the community organizations. It's really exciting. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to be interviewed. Thanks.